There was a period of time, decades ago, in which the engineering, research, and development and learning that went on in universities was most of the time ahead of what was going on in industry. The world today is upside down. Industry is moving at lightning speed. The problems that are challenged to engineers by industry today are stunningly complex. The next generation engineer, they want to make the world better. They will surprise us with what they can do. When we ask bright, well-prepared students who didn't go into engineering, why did you decide not to go into engineering? The answer used to be, because I wanted to go into a field where I could help people.
As a global technology company, we rely heavily on engineers to be able to lead and innovate in order to create some of the most technologically advanced products in the world. In any given week, our engineers may be working with people in 10 different countries, sometimes 7 different time zones. And that brings in particular issues that they run into around cultural issues, as well as communications issues. They have to have very deep technical skills, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. They also need strong communications, collaboration, and cultural awareness skills in order to innovate and lead in the global marketplace.
The public messages and understanding of engineering really done a very good job helping people understand how it is that engineers make a difference in the world, how they help and do good, if you will.
Today's kids, I find, are actually very altruistic.
They're not so interested in becoming immediately wealthy on Wall Street as they are in making a positive impact.
Even when I was younger, I've always been really interested in the humanities and how people interact with each other.
I'm really passionate about providing clean water for people, because I know that's one of the problems that I've seen in smaller towns back home.
A lot of the environmental issues and sustainable energy issues that we're running into now, I think those will definitely be solved by engineering.
And so if there's a way to take that user approach and the language and the engineering and say, is there something that we can do to help you with this process? Is there something we can do to make this better and more lasting?
The first step in dealing with these kinds of complex problems is learning how to talk to people and learning how to respect people with a different viewpoint and learning how to work with people in different parts of the world.
You have to be able to communicate outside your own specialty because the challenges that engineers face are increasingly interdisciplinary.
You've got to have collaboration skills. You're going to be working with many engineers of really a diverse technical background and a diverse cultural background.
So the basic idea is to create an engineer who has a deep, strong, up-to-date technical education, but has had the experiences and developed a toolkit that wrap around that will enable him or her to work with industry, to work across geographic boundaries, and to work with people from totally different professional fields to solve major problems.
There have been a number of national reports that say we need to broaden the skill set that engineers have, but if you look across the board nationwide, we really have not done that.
The good news is that there are a number of universities who are now looking at teaching engineering in a more multidisciplinary or holistic way, you might say. So they're blending both the technical with the other leadership skills that are needed. We have been partnering specifically with Olin College, who is actually a model of that sort of teaching. But we're also working with the University of Illinois and with MIT and with the University of Texas and talking to many other universities. So more and more the engineering schools are evolving to this kind of education.
By sowing the seeds of the skills and the capabilities and the attitudes that are inherent in a leader in our students. We are creating students who are going to emerge in 5 or 10 years as really very capable leaders of our industrial infrastructure.
When you run an engineering project in industry, it's not enough to have a good idea. You need to convince other people that that's a good idea. You need to get a budget for it. You need to find customers for it. You need to make it real.
It takes critical thinking skills to take on new problems and associate trends and pull them into our technology roadmaps. That requires a passion for technology. But over and above that, it takes an ability to collaborate and collaborate with those not only within your team, but but in the fact, in customers, and in customers that might be across the world.
And that's going on here in a course that we call User-Oriented Collaborative Design, or UOCD, in which teams of students spend weeks working with a client group that they identify, whose lives they choose to try to affect in some way.
We're designing things that are useful for them, that they actually want to use, not something that we as engineers say, oh, this is cool, so you're going to use it, because then you wind up with things that nobody wants and that don't help anyone.
It was like, I need to apply this to design for African women because these are people who are so under-designed for, and I'm an African woman, and I just was like, this just feels right. So for me, in the future, I see that being like just such an integral part of what I end up doing.
That understanding that problems begin with people, that solutions end with people and communities. They need to be adaptable and adoptable and sustainable. We hope that that kind of thinking helps people in a wide range of disciplines.
Figuring that the next generation will need to be more innovators than technologists, we are deliberately focused on trying to produce people who will start with human needs, apply creativity and imagination and the tools of science and engineering to produce new devices and products which will change the way people live.
If you look at products today, they're really integrated. Look at a smartphone, look at a tablet, look at a PC. The collaboration that we need on products today is much higher than it's ever been historically. So it's a different skill set that we need out of schools.
So communication, teamwork, project understanding, project management, leadership, those are all really essential skills, and those skills aren't separate from engineering skills, but intimately intertwined with them.
Getting that exposure to teamwork was great for setting me up to come over here and work, because the projects that we do here at AMD, they're not something that a single person can just go out and spend a year doing and then complete something meaningful.
Everybody's trying hard to partner with forward-looking companies like AMD to give these experiences to their students.
When we started down the path of this NextGen Engineer Initiative, we did a great deal of research internally on our own engineers, and we did several surveys and focus groups to find out what it is that they were needing in their development, and it was pretty eye-opening. We realized we actually had a number of opportunities there with our own workforce to help them build out their multidisciplinary skills as well.
Without corporate partners, Olin could not do much other than graduate the few engineers that we have on our campus each year. AMD has been an inspiration to us because of its understanding of the nature of this problem and their willingness to make it a priority. That sends a powerful message to students. AMD as a company is committed to these same principles throughout the company, and is committed to trying to help us affect change in education more broadly.
AMD has been visible at ASEE meetings from Shanghai to San Antonio, and I think it's critically important that they are there. I think their effort with the National Academy of Engineering to identify what are successful practices in doing this and to publicize those efforts is helping people understand what it is that has to be done.
Engineers need to know how to lead a team so that we can keep driving the innovation and the technology within our country.
Nothing's ever really done in isolation, right? So like even when you're in the real world, you're always working with people. I think about all the courses I did, like all the problem sets I did with other people and all of the projects I did with other people, and how that helped me learn so much better, because not only was I asking them for help, but I had to explain my thought process and I had to walk them through.
You have to know how to interact with people. You have to know how to make that transition from I have all of the ideas to I don't have all of the ideas.
If we take the time to understand what our customers value or what the people that are going to be using our products value, then we can do a lot better job of making something that'll be good for them.
To have an individual who is facile at interacting across a number of topical areas and to see not only what is the narrow, technically sweet solution to a problem, but what is a practical solution is really where we need to go and where we are going in attaining the next generation engineer.
The next generation engineer has got to be much more culturally aware and literate of how the modern world works. They have to be able to adapt to a very fast-paced industry, and they have to be very technically good, and they have to keep up to date through their entire career. It's a big bill of goods, but this is an idealistic generation. If we give them what they need, they will surprise us with what they can do.